Hello everyone and welcome, and today we're gonna be looking at a deck that is going to be played a lot post-rotation, and it's already being played a lot, a ton since it came out, and that is the Raging Bolt EX. So for our Pokemon, as our main attackers we have 4 Raging Bolt EXs. To get more energies into play, and as our draw support we have 3 Teal Mask Ogerpon EXs. We have 1 Radiant Greninja as our draw support, 1 Slither Wing to deal with Mimikyus and such, 1 Fezandipiti as our draw support as well, 1 Squawkabilly EX to reset our hand in the first round, and we have the Iron Bundle, also known as the Escape Rope Penguin, to get the opponent's Pokemon out of the active. For our supporters, we have 4 Professor Sada's Vitality. We have 1 Crispin to increase our donk potential, 1 Iono for hand disruption, and 1 Boss's Orders. For our items, we have 4 Nest Ball. We have 4 Earthen Vessel to get the energies from our deck into our hand. We have 3 of the Energy Retrieval to get the energies from the discard. We have 3 Trekking Shoes to get more cards into our hand. We have 2 Switch Cards. We have 2 Pokégear 3.0 to fish out our supporters. We have 2 Pokémon Catcher. If we're lucky, we can switch their benched Pokemon with the active. 1 Night Stretcher to get preferably the Slither Wing from the discard onto our field again. 1 Super Rod to reactivate the Crispin. 1 Pal Pad to return our supporters in the deck. 1 Lost Vacuum. And as the ace spec of choice, 1 Prime Catcher. For our tools, we have 2 Bravery Charms. As our stadiums, we have 2 Pokéstops. And as our energies, we have 3 basic lightning energies, 3 basic fighting energies, and 6 basic grass energies. So, talking a little bit about the matchups, going in blind, you always want to go second, because this deck has massive donk potential. With the Professor Sada's Vitalities, with Crispin, you can load up your Raging Bolts and Ogerpons super easily turn 1, so that's a very good deck to go second with, and yeah. You hope to get a donk turn 1. If you don't, you still have a lot of damage and you still get a knockout turn 1 most likely. Also, this deck is Bela's favorite deck. She played it a ton, she did really well with it a lot of times. She's really a master in this deck, so most of the things that I'm telling you is actually from her own experience. And yeah, from her own experience as well, let's talk a little bit about the matchups. And mentioning a few good ones first, the good one is of course the Regidrago V-Star, which I've talked about a ton in the previous videos as well. And because you have the damage output that can knock out anything on the board very easily, really fast, while the Regidrago deck is a bit slower to get started. Another very good matchup is actually the Archelodon, both builds, the one with the Alga and without the Alga. With the Alga is actually a bit better somehow, and without the Alga is actually slightly worse, but still a very good matchup. So Archelodon is also a very good matchup for us. Another good matchup is the Charizard. Charizard is within reach of this deck. Not many decks can say that Charizard with its 330 HP is within reach, but Raging Bolt can pull it off turn 2, turn 3 quite easily actually, which is kind of insane. Plus the Ogerpons hit it for weakness, so that's another very good thing about it. And talking a little bit about the bad matchups, one of the worst has got to be the Snorlax stall. Obviously, if they play Erika's Invitation and the Pokeflute, they can get the Pokemon that you don't need on the bench and stall you a lot from there on out, and it's a really tough matchup. Another very difficult matchup, although on Limitless it says that it's very 50-50, but from my and Bela's experience, it is really not. It's very unfavored for the Raging Bolt, and that is the Ancient Box, because they have single prizers which can ramp up huge numbers, and you have two prizers, and yeah, you're going back and forth, and sooner than not, they will be ahead in prizes, and yeah, it's a very tough matchup, to be honest. Another very tough one is the Quad Thorns, or Thorns Dragapult, anything with Iron Thorns, to be honest. Just because you rely heavily on the abilities of Greninja and of the Teal Mask Ogerpon, so those are tough as well. You have to load it up with Crispin, that's why we have it in there. You have to load your Raging Bolts with Professor Sada's Vitalities. You have to use your supporters to get the energies onto your attackers, but still very tough matchup. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, you guys, and catch you next time.